Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is your humble host Hunter here, and hope you guys are having a good weekend. I wanted to get this review up, just do a quick review for this, because I realized I kept talking about how, oh yeah, we're gonna review The Lion King, and it's been out for a couple weeks. I went, oh my god, we haven't reviewed The Lion King yet. So this is a real quick review on The Lion King. Of course, directed by Mr. Jon Favreau, who, of course, was really the big thing, I think, that really almost launched him even to another stratosphere. We obviously talk about Swingers, pardon me, being kind of that movie that made everyone go, okay, this guy's got something. But it was really Iron Man that really put him just in that whole other tier of, okay, this guy is special. Now, granted, he's also executive producer on The Mandalorian, the upcoming Star Wars TV series, that's going to be in a Disney Plus exclusive. He also, if you guys haven't watched it, he's a executive producer on The Chef Show, and he hosts that, and that's a great show, and that's a great movie. If you haven't seen Chef, I believe it's on Amazon Prime now, so I would highly recommend checking that out. And of course, he's been working with Marvel, really extensively since the first Iron Man. So I think that's interesting is that he goes ahead and does The Jungle Book, and out of all of these, I think it's still the best live action remake that they've done. And let's just kind of get this out of the way. Quote, The Lion King, quote, being live action, I mean, it's very realistic looking animals. I mean, it's still CG, so it being, quote, live action, unquote, it's not really live action. These aren't actual, antelopes jumping for the cameras and crap like that. So just to go ahead and put that out there. I will say with this movie, because if you listen to our reviews, we thought Beauty and the Beast was pretty damn good. I completely forgot till I was doing research that they did a Pete's Dragon live action remake. I was like, oh shit, they did do that, and that wasn't great. And I didn't even review Dumbo, which I still need to review, because I remember just leaving the theater going, I don't even know what I'd say about it. It's just kind of there, so whatever, I guess. You don't need to see Dumbo if you haven't seen it. But this is a movie I would tell people, you can go out and see this, and I think you'll get your money's worth. This, of course, is based on the original animated movie, which is about 20 years old, which is crazy to even think about. Actually, 25 years old, which is just insane to think about. Favreau, he really struck gold with The Jungle Book. He clearly gets how to do these. And I think what's interesting about Favreau is that he takes this very photorealistic look to both films. I think The Jungle Book, as great as it looks, this even looks better. I was telling my girlfriend Alea that the thing I was really wanting from this movie was basically Planet Earth, but with The Lion King. And that's essentially what I got, so I left the theater pretty happy. So this, of course, follows all the same beats. You've got Simba, who ends up being voiced by Donald Glover, which is awesome. He is the rightful heir to the throne, as it were. His dad, Mufasa, voiced still by James Earl Jones, which is fucking awesome. One of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable voice, maybe in the history of film. Goes ahead and tells him, look, you are a king. You are, the heir to all of this. And the opening scene of The Lion King, I think, is the best opening scene in a Disney film, period. I remember watching that with my folks. I would have been 8 at the time, and just sitting in that theater, and I was crying by the end of just the opening credits when, it flashes Lion King there after Circle of Life, which this music, this is probably the thing outside of probably Phantom of the Opera that got me into musicals, because while this is very Shakespearean, the music in this movie, of course, by Tim Rice and Elton John, Sir Elton John, pardon me. There's a reason this music has endured for as long as it has, and why it's so fucking brilliant. The songs are pretty much unchanged. The arrangements obviously have switched a little bit, but the core concept, the core spirit of these songs is really unchanged, and in the end, that's what I wanted. So, of course, young Simba grows up when he's a young cub. He's going ahead, hanging out with Nala, causing general mischief as kids do. And Zazu, voiced brilliantly by John Oliver, it's basically his overglorified babysitter. I mean, Zazu is, head, not head to the throne. That'd be funny. Zazu's king. Zazu is the right hand bird. I was gonna say right hand man, but that's incorrect. Right hand bird to Mufasa. He's patrolling the kind of overseeing everything, and so he ends up getting stuck with the hilariously fun task of watching Nala and Simba when they want to go ahead and go off, and of course that leads into one of my favorite Disney songs ever. I Just Can't Wait to Be King, which I thought was done so well here with the quote live action unquote animals. John Oliver really portrays that franticness that Zazu is supposed to have, and you hear him just saying the lines, and it's so funny to hear the guy from Last Week Tonight playing Zazu. It's kind of surreal, to be completely honest. So of course the kids end up getting lost because they go to the elephant graveyard. They run into Shinzi, Banzai, and Ed. I want to say, and now this is going to sound completely racist, but what you're going to do. Apparently all black people sound alike, because I could not distinguish Keegan-Michael Key from Eric Andre. And I was sitting there the whole time like, who's talking right now? And I'm huge fans of both of theirs, but sorry guys, couldn't tell you apart. So, but Mufasa ends up going ahead, jumping in, saving the kids, and this is all to the very sadness of Scar, who is not voiced by Jeremy Irons this time, which I will say, if you're going to bring back James Earl Jones or Jeremy Irons, I get you bring back James Earl Jones if it's a one or the other. I completely understand that. I would have liked if they brought back Jeremy Irons, but we got Chiwetel Ejiofor, who I just want to say, I think he's my favorite part of this movie outside of Donald Glover, because Chiwetel Ejiofor, he is menacing as Scar. If you're a theater nerd or just a fan of film, the way that he just says his lines, and even the way that, even though it's clearly not him on screen, his words and his tone matches the way that Scar even moves, and that's a huge credit to the animators and the visual effects team. There's this line young Simba drops where he goes, "Oh yeah, at some point I'm gonna have to tell you what to do. Isn't that crazy?" And Scar just looks at him and goes, "It's absolutely crazy." And you can just hear him in his head going, "I'm gonna eat you the moment I have a chance to." It's menacing. And Chiwetel Ejiofor, while we don't get a quote proper unquote version of Be Prepared, we get more of an abridged version of Be Prepared, kind of mixed with spoken word, which I was like, okay, I know I can't get the extravagant, pyro shooting out from rocks and shit that I got in the original Lion King. I can't get that, but I thought that the tweak that they made as far as getting Be Prepared in the movie, I thought it was actually really well done. I think it works pretty damn well. As far as the really big scenes, you of course have the stampede scene, and that was the scene for me I was looking forward to the most, going, okay, like I gotta see what the stampede scene does. And Chiwetel Ejiofor, the way he just portrays Scar in the scene, like, Simba's in trouble, you have to go save him. And that scene where Simba is on the branch trying to stay away above the wildebeest, it's really scary. And I'm sitting there watching this adorable, cute, fluffy cub, like, oh, please don't hurt him. This one really bummed me out. It's really well shot, and it's really well portrayed. And of course, the scene that happens here where Mufasa gets hurt, is climbing up the rocks, trying to go ahead and get to safety, and Scar's right there, just standing on the edge of the cliff, like, oh, hey buddy, how's it going? And Mufasa reaches up for Scar's help. Scar digs his paws into Mufasa's like wrist, which was a ow, and whispers, "Long live the king!" Throws him off. Mufasa. The thing that I think hit me the hardest on that, not just how Scar betrays him, and you get this aerial shot of Mufasa falling, which, God, if you're, I could see you being 6 years old, never seen the original Lion King. That might haunt your nightmares, just seeing this adorable lion thrown to its death. So I would say, maybe if you have young kids, you might want to cover your eyes on that part. I think seeing Mufasa's body just not moving will get the point across. Like, you don't want to traumatize your kids, but the way that was portrayed and just seeing Mufasa's body there, like in the original, it's heartbreaking. And seeing it again, quote, live action, unquote, it really did have this aura of just this almost crippling sadness, to be completely frank. And it worked really well. I think it works slightly better in live action, seeing Mufasa's body just laying there. So Simba runs away, runs into Timon and Pumbaa, who are voiced by Billy Eichner, which is, I'm a huge fan of Billy on the Street, and I thought he was amazing on Parks and Rec. So seeing him and Seth Rogen, which, can we talk about the fact that Seth Rogen, who's made Pineapple Express, was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Superbad, all these dirty, hilarious R-rated movies, is now in a Disney movie voicing one of my favorite characters. It's just, God, our world is funny sometimes. But if there's anything you're going to take away from this, aside of Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think you're going to take away Timon and Pumbaa. Timon and Pumbaa were so great in this movie, it almost makes me want to have them do a live action version of Lion King 1.5, so I can see all the sequences and all the first movie from their point of view, because Timon and Pumbaa, their dialogue is very witty, it's very, I don't say, it's bordering on Three Stooges level of slapstick, which I didn't mind at all, because I actually like Three Stooges, but it's really funny to see Eichner and Seth Rogen play off each other, because they play off each other so well. I really want to see them do something together, sort of like a comedy movie or something, because their chemistry is just off the charts. And then at this point we get adult Simba, who is voiced by Childish Gambino himself, Donald Glover. And Donald Glover, that brother can just do anything. He sings, he dances, he acts, he writes, he directs. Damn it, Donald Glover, stop being so talented. But he does a great job with the voice acting here. There are a couple lines near the end when he's working with, or where he meets back up with Nala, who's voiced by Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. There's a couple lines he had, I went, okay, that wasn't great. Not because the line was delivered, not because of the line, but just some of the way, I don't know if it was his diction or what it was. It's just, a couple lines felt a little flat, but maybe it's because it was followed by a Beyonce line, because I will say, I know Beyonce's not a huge actress, I get that, but at the same time, she is a singer, and I would think she would know at certain points, okay, my voice needs to go higher here, it needs to be more serious here. And I didn't always get or feel Nala's desperation like I did in the animated film when she's trying to get Simba to come back to Pride Rock. That's probably my biggest complaint about this movie. That was frustrating to watch. And also when they're going back to Pride Rock, after she, of course, talks him into it, they shoehorn in this new Beyonce song, and I was sitting there going, okay, I don't ever need this. Please fucking stop this. It's a really sore spot for me, just because I hate when movies, interject that random pop song where it doesn't need to be there. And Beyonce's Beyonce. She could just say, I have a new song out on the Lion King soundtrack. You don't have to shoehorn the shit in just because it's Beyonce. So that was a little irritating, but really, outside of that, my complaints are really quite minimal. I guess this is longer than the original. I didn't really feel the length, phrasing, about it. It played well for me, and I was engaged the whole time, which is what I know they want. But at the same time, Disney is just, they're being so lazy with some of these remakes. The fact that Disney is so arrogant to go, you know, we don't even need to come up with new ideas. We'll just remake our own shit. I mean, it's a very bad message to send to the industry at large. So I am not under any delusions about how this isn't good. So please don't go like, well, what about... Trust me, I get it. But at the same time, if they're going to put the love and care into these, like they did with Jungle Book and even Beauty and the Beast to an extent, and Lion King, then okay, go ahead, keep making these. Fine. I'm worried about Mulan, I will just say, because it seems like they're taking so much of the musical elements out of it. I wouldn't mind them kind of playing her more up the kind of more Joan of Arc-esque aspect to it, the whole warrior aspect. If they want to do that and go ahead and inspire young women, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm totally fine with that. But if you take "I'll Make a Man Out of You" out of that song, out of that movie, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off. So please don't do that, Disney. If you're gonna keep at least one song in there, it should be that one, because that song's fucking great. And I will say too about this movie, when "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" comes on, oh, that's a showstopper. Hearing Donald Glover and Beyonce sing together is everything. The as the kids say, the song is super lit. But but if you hear her laughing in the background, that would be Leia. So dumb. But I'm getting old. But honestly though, it's a show stealer, and it really just made me go, oh hell yeah, we're in the, you know, to paraphrase one of my favorite movies, we're in the end game now, and you know, this is wrapping up. I did find the kind of the last fight scene between Scar and Simba, I just didn't find it as engaging as I did the first time in the original movie. I remember Simba doing that kind of that flip where he flips Scar over his head and Scar like falls on the ground in front of all the hyenas before he gets eaten. They kind of changed it up here, and I didn't love that, so that was kind of a ding against this too. But at the same time, though, I am being a little nitpicky, but it's because Lion King is in my top 5, if not top 3 favorite Disney animated films ever. I really don't know what my number 1 would be. I would actually have to sit down and think about it. But wrapping up here and getting to my final thoughts, the music works well. Favreau, he gets these movies. He gets how to direct everything. The CG is breathtaking. Like I will buy this movie just in 4K alone because of how it looks. It is just a visual feast, as it were. A visual tour, a tour de force. There you go. It's sound more pretentious. It's really well done, and if you have kids, they'll love it. Why wouldn't they? I mean, it's pretty. Just off that alone, kids will like it. I do think that the story being more compact helps the original more, and it's being stretched out a little more almost hurts the movie. So that's a little frustrating, and they shoehorn in this new rival for Nala as far as one of the hyenas that just didn't need to be there because it's Beyonce. We have to give her more. So whatever, I don't really care. It's fine. But overall, though, this is another worthy. This is a worthy live action adaptation for Disney. I give them a lot of credit for this. I've been back and forth between B+ and A-, and I'm gonna go A-, just because I saw this with Colin. Shout out to Colin. I went ahead and saw that with him. We both left the theater going, yeah, that was pretty damn great. And the emotional parts that needed to hit, especially when Simba looks up in the sky, runs into Rafiki, and he shows him that his dad still is there with him. I thought that scene was so beautifully handled. And Donald Glover gets across that desperation of just wanting to talk to his father again. That alone made me go, okay, this is a B. So yeah, I think this movie is really great. Not perfect, because the original Lion King would be a fan-fucking-tastic. Like, it's not even a question. But this is a solid entry in Disney's growing catalog of live action movies because fuck you, we're Disney. But yeah, this will be a maybe not a day one buy, but I will buy this in the first month or two that it's out. So, but guys, have you seen The Lion King? Let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and now on Stitcher at The Real Pineapple. Be the first to subscribe so you can go ahead and be the first to know when we have new reviews coming out. And if you guys need custom jewelry, we are heading to October. We're heading to Halloween, to go ahead and quote Captain Raymond Holt. So if you guys need some spooky jewelry or just some badass jewelry in general, check out our sponsor, Stat Guy Studio, on Instagram. That's STADTGEIST.studio, and use the code REALP. That's REELP. That's capitalized, by the way. 2019 for 10% off your order. What you know about it. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Guys and gals, pardon me. Thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up this upcoming weekend for, God help me, Dora the what are they calling this? Oh yeah, Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Who cares? I don't want to see it. Ugh. And we'll have a review up as well for The Long Shot and for Stranger Things 3. We're going to deep dive into Stranger Things 3. And if you have not heard, I'm going to be going live. We will have our first, probably this weekend, we will have our debut episode of what I'm calling the Weekly Slice, which is where I go ahead, review the week. We go ahead and talk some movies, talk some film, talk video games, whatever tickles my fancy for the whole week of news at large. I will go ahead and go ahead and discuss. So I look forward to putting that out for you guys weekly. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.